Stop spending your pennies. Most of these are worth 1 cent, but this specific 1945 penny is currently valued at $1.7 million. There are only a few in the world, and most people throw them in tip jars without ever checking the date. Here is the 1-second test to see if you're holding a fortune. Imagine holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand. A small, copper disc that looks like ordinary pocket change but carries the financial power to retire your debt, buy your dream home, or secure your family's legacy for generations. Most people see a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny and think of it as a relic of a bygone era, perhaps worth a few cents at most. But what if I told you that hiding within the minting mintages of the mid-50s is a ghost? A coin that shouldn't exist, carrying a mistake so rare that it has sent the world's wealthiest collectors into a bidding frenzy. Today, we aren't just talking about numismatics, we are talking about a life-changing discovery. If you've ever felt like you were just one lucky break away from the life you deserve, pay close attention. That break might be sitting in your kitchen junk drawer right now. The year 1956 was a turning point for America. Elvis was on the charts, the interstate highway system was born, and the Denver Mint was pumping out over 1 billion pennies marked with that iconic D Mint mark. But here is where the mystery begins. While the Denver Mint was prolific, the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally left its coins blank with no mint mark, was also in full production. To the untrained eye, a 1956 penny with no mint mark is common. But to the elite collector, there is a holy grail error lurking in the shadows. We are looking for the impossible. A coin struck on the wrong metal, or a transitional error that defies the laws of the U.S. Mint. Are you holding a standard wheat cent, or are you holding a $1 million printing mistake? Before you go dumping your jars onto the carpet, let's talk about the fear of the Mississippi. Every year, millions of dollars in rare currency are accidentally spent at laundromats or dropped into charity bins because the owners didn't know what to look for. Think about that pit in your stomach, the realization that you had a fortune and literally gave it away for a pack of gum. That ends today. To find the $1 million 1956 cent, you must look for the double die anomalies or the legendary BIE errors, but more importantly, you must look for the proof strikes that somehow escaped into circulation. Does your coin have a mirror-like finish? Does it look unnaturally sharp? If it does, your pulse should be racing. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. How can it be worth millions? It sounds like a fairy tale, doesn't it? But in the high-stakes world of coin auctions, rarity is the only currency that matters. When a coin is graded at a perfect MS-67 or MS-68 read by the PCGS, it ceases to be money and becomes fine art. We've seen similar wheat cents from the 40s and 50s reach astronomical heights at auction houses like Heritage Auctions. The 1956 no mint mark in a pristine, uncirculated red condition is a predator in the market. It is the silent winner. But wait, there is a specific microscopic detail on the wheat stalks that separates a $10 coin from a $10,000 coin. Do you know how to spot the soft strike versus the full detail? If you don't, you're leaving your wealthy lifestyle to chance. Let's take a second to breathe. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just remember, every millionaire started with a single step, or in this case, a single cent. Why shouldn't it be you? You've worked hard, you've saved, and you've played by the rules. It's time the universe paid a little back. But urgency is your only friend here. The market for rare copper is heating up, and as inflation fluctuates, tangible assets like rare coins are becoming the preferred gold standard for the wealthy. If you find a 1956 penny with an off-center strike or a unique discoloration, do not clean it. I repeat, do not clean it. You wouldn't take a scrub brush to a Picasso, would you? Wiping away that patina could be wiping away $1 million valuation. So, how do we bridge the gap between your current reality and the lifestyle of the elite? It starts with the Red Book standards and ends with professional grading. But there is a secret. a specific 1956 error known only to a handful of specialists involving a re-punch date that has been whispered about in private forums. It's a variant that shouldn't exist according to official records. If you can find the 1956 penny that shows a faint shadow behind the numbers, you aren't just looking at a coin. You're looking at a winning lottery ticket that never expires. This is the ghost of 56. And finding it is the ultimate pattern interrupt to a mundane financial life. We are reaching the moment of truth. You've looked at the history, you've felt the excitement of the hunt, and you understand the gravity of what is at stake. But there is one final thing, the cliffhanger of the numismatic world. There is a specific weight measured in grams that a 1956 penny must hit to be considered a wrong planchet error. If your 1956 no-mint mark penny weighs even a fraction of a gram off the standard 3.11 grams, you need to stop everything and call an appraiser. This is the difference between a copper coin and a steel transition or experimental alloy cent that could literally be worth $1 million opening bid. The clock is ticking, and these coins are being lost to history every single day. Go to your safe, check your collection, and look at those 1956 beauties with a magnifying glass and a new sense of purpose. The lifestyle you've dreamed of, the travel, the freedom, the security, is waiting behind a layer of copper. You have the knowledge, you have the triggers to look for, and now you have the opportunity. Don't let someone else find the 1956 treasure that was meant for you. Check your change, verify the weight, and prepare for your life to change for Eve. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a tiny, copper-colored disc in the palm of your hand. It's light, it's weathered, and to the untrained eye, it's worth exactly 1 cent. But what if I told you that very coin, the one currently gathering dust in your kitchen junk drawer or buried under the floorboards of an old family chest, is actually a silent messenger of wealth? What if that 1946 wheat penny is the key to the life you've always dreamed of? The early retirement, the coastal estate, the absolute financial freedom that comes from a single lucky find. Most people walk past millions of dollars every day because they don't know what to look for. They see pocket change. We see a legacy. Today, we are diving deep into the enigma of the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a 1946 penny. They made billions of them. And you're right, they did. But in the world of high-stakes numismatics, it isn't the commonality that creates millionaires. It's the anomaly. There is a specific razor-thin margin between a penny that buys you a piece of bubblegum and a penny that buys you a Ferrari. Are you holding a piece of history or just a piece of copper? By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to tell the difference and, more importantly, why the market for these coins is exploding right now. But before we unlock the vault, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are you still working that 9 to 5 when your retirement fund might be sitting in a jar on your dresser? The fear of missing out is real, but the fear of accidentally spending a fortune is worse. Did you know that every year, thousands of super coins are processed through Coinstar machines by people who just didn't take 5 seconds to look? Don't let that be you. We're about to look at the 1946 plain penny through a lens of pure value. And stick around, because midway through, I'm going to reveal a specific struck-through error that has collectors losing their minds and their bank accounts at recent auctions. Act 2. The anatomy of $1 million miracle. The year is 1946. The war is over, the American economy is surging, and the Philadelphia Mint is working overtime. Because Philadelphia was the primary mint, coins struck their bare no mint mark. No S for San Francisco, no D for Denver. Just the stoic profile of Abraham Lincoln and the date. On the surface, a 1946 penny is a workhorse of history. But the plain 1946 is a predator in the auction circuit for one reason: condition science. You see, while billions were minted, almost all of them entered circulation. They were touched by oily hands, dropped on pavement, and shoved into vending machines. This leads us to our first pattern interrupt. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at Lincoln's coat on a penny? If you can see the individual lines in his lapel, you aren't looking at a cent, you're looking at a paycheck. The transition from a standard coin to $1 million asset happens in the mint state, MS rankings. A 1946 penny in MS 67 or MS 68 red condition is an absolute unicorn. Red refers to the original copper luster that hasn't oxidized into brown. At this level, we aren't talking about coins anymore. We are talking about fine art. When a coin is graded at this tier by the PCGS or NGC, the bidding wars become legendary. Investors looking to hedge against inflation are moving away from volatile stocks and into hard assets. They want the best 1946 penny in existence, and they are willing to pay a king's ransom to own it. But here is the cliffhanger. It isn't just about the shine. There are 1946 pennies out there with double die errors so subtle they require a jeweler's loupe to see. Yet they carry a value that could pay off your mortgage tomorrow. Imagine the thrill of realizing that the slight blurring on the words, "In God We Trust," is actually a minting error worth 6 figures. This is why numismatics is the ultimate treasure hunt. It's the only hobby where you can literally turn 1 cent into $1 million lifestyle. But you have to be fast. The market is tightening, and as more people realize the value of these 1946 no marks, the competition is becoming fierce. If you find one, do you know the 3 critical steps to preserve its value? Or will you ruin your fortune by trying to clean it with baking soda? Hint: never, ever clean your coins. Act 3. Securing your legacy and taking the lead as we move into the final phase of our journey. Let's talk about the $1 million auction reality. Recent trends show that high-grade 1946 pennies are outperforming traditional investments. We are seeing a surge in whale collectors, ultra-high net worth individuals, who are snapping up every red MS 67 plus specimen they can find. Why? Because they know something you don't. Rarity is the only true currency. In a world of digital bits and printed paper, a physical 1946 wheat penny in pristine condition is a finite resource. They aren't making any more of them. The urgency cannot be overstated. We are currently in a golden age of coin collecting. With the rise of online auction platforms, the barrier to entry has vanished, but the price of entry is rising. If you have a 1946 penny with no mint mark, look for the satin finish look. Look for the double die obverse. If your coin looks like it was minted yesterday, you are sitting on a gold mine. This is your moment to transition from a spectator to a player in the world's most elite hobby. Think about what that $1 million valuation could do. It's not just about the money. It's about the peace of mind. It's about the ability to walk into a room and know that you've secured your family's future with a piece of copper that others ignore. So, here is your call to action, and it is a matter of financial health. Stop what you are doing and check your containers. Look for that 1946 date. Look for the absence of a mint mark. If the coin is brilliant, red, and sharp, you might be the next headline in the numismatic world. But there is one final, secret error, a 1946 over 1945 repunch date that is so rare, only a handful have ever been whispered about in the inner circles of the elite. If you find that, you aren't just looking at $1 million, you're looking at a record-breaking auction. The treasure is out there, hidden in plain sight. Will you be the one to claim it, or will you let someone else find the fortune that was meant for you? The clock is ticking, and the collectors are waiting. Imagine holding a small, weathered piece of copper in the palm of your hand, something you might find in a dusty jar on a shelf or stuck in the cushions of an old armchair. To most, it's just a penny. But to the elite world of numismatics, that specific 1945 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark could be the literal key to a life of absolute financial freedom. We aren't talking about a few $100s for a rainy day. We are talking about the kind of wealth that buys estates, secures legacies, and changes your family's zip code forever. Today, we are stripping back the veil on the 1945 Philadelphia wheat cent, a coin that hides $1 million secret beneath its humble surface. If you've ever dreamt of that lottery moment without ever buying a ticket, pay close attention. The difference between a common cent and $1 million masterpiece is thinner than the copper it's minted on. The year was 1945. The world was exhaling as World War II drew to a close. In the Philadelphia Mint, millions of copper planchets were being struck with the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln. Because they were minted in Philly, they bear no mint mark, no S for San Francisco, no D for Denver. Just the date and the dignity of the design. Now, I know what you're thinking. If they made millions of them, how could mine possibly be worth a fortune? It's a fair question. In fact, most 1945 pennies you'll find are worth exactly 1 cent, or maybe 20 cents if they're in decent shape. But here is where the fear of missing out should kick in. Hidden among those millions are a handful of super coins, specimens that escaped the circulation of the common man and remained in a state of absolute, breathtaking perfection. Think about your own collection for a second. Have you actually looked at the luster, or are you just assuming it's pocket change? Most people spend their whole lives walking past a fortune because they don't know what perfection looks like in the eyes of a professional grader. We are looking for the red designation, a coin that looks like it was struck 5 minutes ago, glowing with the original fiery orange glow of the mint. When a 1945 no-mint mark penny hits a grade of MS67 or higher, the price doesn't just go up. It teleports into a different dimension. But wait, there's a catch that keeps most collectors up at night. The million-dollar condition. To reach the million-dollar heights of the market, a coin has to be more than just shiny. It has to be a freak of nature. We are talking about superb gem quality. In the high-stakes world of coin auctions, collectors are currently hunting for that 1 in a billion 1945 penny that defies the laws of physics. Why is the 1945 specifically so rare in high grades? Because toward the end of the war, the quality of the copper and the precision of the dies were, let's just say, less than ideal. Finding a 1945 penny with a full, sharp strike, where every line in the wheat stalks is crisp and Lincoln's hair shows every individual strand, is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. Now, let's talk about the current market shift. We are seeing a massive influx of new money investors who are fleeing the volatility of the stock market and putting their wealth into hard assets. This is creating a perfect storm for you. When a high-grade 1945 wheat penny hits the auction block today, it's not just collectors bidding. It's billionaires looking for a place to park their cash. This creates an urgency you cannot ignore. If you have a 1945 penny that looks suspiciously perfect, you aren't just holding copper. You are holding an insurance policy against inflation. But before you go running to the nearest dealer, you need to understand the great deception. Do you know the difference between cleaned and original? If you clean your coin to make it look better, you might have just scrubbed away $1 million. Seriously, put the baking soda down. So, what is the current market value for the absolute king of 1945 pennies? While common grades linger at low prices, the ultra-rare, high-MS graded specimens are reaching for the stratosphere. In recent years, high-grade wheat cents have seen prices realize into the hundreds of thousands, and with the current trajectory of the luxury asset market, the first $1 million 1945 Philadelphia cent is a when, not an if. The rarity is compounded by the fact that so many were lost to time, melted down, or ruined by improper storage. If you want to live that wealthy lifestyle, the kind where you don't check the price tag at dinner and you travel where you want, when you want, you have to start thinking like an investor. Check your jars. Use a magnifying glass. Look for that red luster and the absence of any contact marks. The 1945 no-mint mark penny is a sleeper hit. It's the quiet one in the room that ends up being the genius. The window for finding these raw treasures in the wild is closing. Every day, more people are waking up to the value of their old change. You have a choice. You can keep that jar of pennies as a doorstop, or you can take the time to identify the treasure that might be sitting right under your nose. If you found this insight valuable and you're ready to turn your pocket change into a portfolio, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are uncovering the secrets of the world's most expensive coins every single week. Don't let your fortune sit in a drawer. Look at your 1945 pennies tonight, because tomorrow the market might just be looking for you. Your legacy is waiting. Are you brave enough to find it?